What's up, YouTube? This is Eldris with GGTV, where we play better, play faster, and play smarter. I'm actually on my third cup of coffee for the night. That one's still hot. Okay. I've actually been up looking all over the internet for different replays to bring you guys. I've selected 3 for the night. I've already done the first 2, and we are on the third one now. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that up. And hopefully the last 2 were fairly entertaining for you. This one is a little more straightforward. It is a little more standard, and it's a little bit higher league. Okay, so let's introduce these players. In the bottom left corner of Daybreak, we have xLateralus as the as the red Zerg. And in the top right, we have SilPae as the blue Protoss. You can actually see we have a little bit of conversation already going on between the two. It looks like Lateralus would like to know what league SilPae is in, and SilPae responds in Wood League, which means he believes he's just a terrible player. Which, who knows, maybe he's not that bad. This was a high gold, low plat, if I'm not mistaken. I believe they actually explain that a little bit later on. We'll see. And you see Lateralus is very intent on finding out whether or not he's in the same league. He wants to know what kind of competition he's up against. He's ready to bring it. Lateral is saying he's in Silver League. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not buying it. He doesn't look like he has a very good, honest face. But of course, you know, there's not much going on in the beginning of the game. Like I said, this is a fairly standard game, and it's a fairly standard PvZ. I believe we actually have a Forge Fast Expand going on down here. Yeah, it looks like it. And it looks like Lateralus is finally owning up to his actual league. He says he's number 2 in gold. To which SilPae replies, Lamau. Very entertained by this. And we have the standard scouting going on. Very standard. So very standard. And then, of course, the probe goes there to block off the natural, but immediately turns back, which I don't understand that. He should stay here to block this natural expansion from going down. And he gets back just in time to delay it a few seconds. So that was entertaining. And we've got the Forge Fast Wall going up. The mighty wall. The mighty wall of the Protoss army. And of course, Lateralus is sending out his overlords as scouts, just to kind of check out the natural, and the other one going up to check out the main, see what's going on. He's getting his natural expansion down, spawning pools down. I believe it went down on 15. Getting that queen out, and getting some more drones. Getting a couple of wings for harass. Has that drone already at his third to plant the hatch. So very fast expansions, 2 of them. And I'm actually not much of a fan of taking the third on Daybreak, and you know, I am a Protoss player, so it's a little bit different for me. Taking the third up here as Protoss is a little bit harder to hold, just because of the giant gap in the wall here, which does come into play a little bit later on. We'll see if he's able to hold. But you also have another gap here on the ramp. And of course, it's not like they have an easy access to get back to the ramp. They do have to walk all the way back around. But it is easy to flank a force right here and here as a Zerg versus Protoss. And of course, they have another way in from up here. If they hit the main, they can immediately go attack the third again. So I'm just not a big fan of 3-base play on Daybreak. And of course, being Gold League, I'm not a big fan of 3-base play anyway, because my macro is terrible. So, let's see what we got going on. Pretty standard, just droning up. SilPae is getting another scout in, sacking a probe. The queen taking it down fairly easily. It's getting his macro going, just getting up to his 3-base economy. I'm not sure if SilPae did notice that third. Okay, he does. So he knows there's 3 bases up. And he's just getting his 2 base economy going. Just trying to tech up, get, I think he's on, okay, so he's on +1 right now. Getting that sentry out just to, you know, if this wall were to go down, he'd be able to force field it off a little bit easier. Getting warp gate out, getting that second assimilator, the 4th technically assimilator. It looks like he has a lot of probes up here. He should actually transfer about 3 of these probes, 3 or 4 of these probes down to his natural. He's a little oversaturated in his main, but that's no huge deal, I suppose. And we have Lateralus missing his injects. Because I'm a top level player. I notice these things in replays when I'm not playing because I am terrible. I actually play a little bit of Zerg in 2s with my buddy when we do play 2s. So I have a very slight understanding of how to play Zerg. Terran is my absolute worst matchup. I have no idea what's going on in Terran. All I know is that Marines are overpowered. QQ Blizzard, please nerf. Hate Marines. Hate Marines. Hate Marauders even more. Armored plus a slow plus they're super cheap. What is up with that? Drives me crazy. But you know what? There's not a Terran in this game, so I am a happy man. So, SilPae gets his 3 sentries out, which is fairly standard, just to use those force fields to block this off. If there were any kind of heavy link pressure to come in, and that 1 cannon wasn't enough to hold it out. But Warp Gate is just finishing up. He only has 2 gateways down, though, when it finishes. He does have this, Robo out, and he is getting an Immortal. And, you know, I'm not positive if that's a standard play or not, just having 2 gateways when Warp Gate finishes. But he did have that Twilight Council finished as well. It just seems like the timings could be a little more crisp. He is throwing down the extra Warp Gates now, and he is getting +2. So he's climbed up the tech tree quite a lot, and of course, you know, not having the gateways early didn't hurt him at all. And he did have good scouting, so I imagine that this is actually a fairly good play to go with. So we've got this small force of SilPae moving out now, just kind of stepping forward, and it looks like he's going to go check out his 3rd. Yeah, he wants to plant down that 3rd and take his own expansion. Which is just, you know, I understand that you need to keep up with the Zerg and economy, but holding this 3rd base just seems so difficult as a Protoss player, especially against Zerg. Just because, you know, these giant openings that you either have to wall off with gateways, or you just have to have so many sentries that you're using all of your gas for sentries alone. That's my own opinion. Like I said again, I am a gold player, so it may not mean a whole lot to anybody who's higher than me. And if it doesn't, well, I don't like you. Again, he has an oversaturation, which I understand because he is getting his 3rd up, but he still has an oversaturation in his main as well. Which is, you know, it's better than having too few probes. Always better to have more than too few. Let's see what the Zergie's doing. He's getting his +1 Carapace and his +1. Actually, I don't know what that's called. Okay, just missile attacks. So you have +1 Carapace and then +1 missile attacks. Way to go, Blizzard. Could have made something fancy out of that, but no. Whatever. So it looks like we're massing roaches. Lateralus is just going the Stefano build and getting 1 billion roaches just to overrun his opponent. We got the macro hatch down. How many queens are there? Let's find out. The units tab, my good friend. 72 drones. which is a fairly good number. You don't want too many more than that. 5 queens and 57 roaches with 4 zerglings. Okay, okay, that's fair. And the spire is going down too, and going to 2-2 for Zerg, and the infestation pet's about to go down. Eesh. And he's maxed out. So this doesn't look good for our Protoss player SilPae, with a handful of stalkers, 4 immortals, 4 sentries, which isn't bad, and 2 zealots. This doesn't look good so far. So we have this giant opening, just fuck ton of roaches here, streaming their way in. And we do get some nice force fields that go down, but there's just not enough. We needed one more up here. Too many roaches have gotten in. These 2 gateways have gone unpowered. The cannons just aren't enough. These mortals, though, are putting in their work. Of course, they absolutely murder roaches. And stalkers also are good against roaches. And we got some blink micro going on. That's not too bad, but we still have so many roaches left here. So many roaches. But it looks like the Protoss is actually holding. He's able to hold this force out. And he still has a number of stalkers left. And he's able to blink forward. Okay, here come the lings. In come the lings. We do have a Colossus out, however. Maybe this will be enough to help deal with these lings. We need to blink out. There we go. Use that immortal. We need to save that immortal for the roaches, because there's still more coming in. That Colossus needs to stay alive. It needs to be targeting down these Zerglings, but it goes down due to the roaches. And all these blink stalkers get surrounded. They are able to blink away, but the Zerglings give chase. We get 4 more zealots coming in, but they're just no match for all these roaches. And SilPae is forced to blink away, giving up his third, as more and more units from Lateralus come streaming in. SilPae brings up his forces stalker count just a little bit, and he realizes that he's completely outnumbered. That 3 base economy from the Zerg is just too much for this 2 base Protoss. He just can't hold it off. Too many units. We're getting a warping of zealots. We just got tons of roaches just right back in, nearly remaxed almost instantly. And of course Lateralus has about 100 more supply. SilPae is not looking good at this point. He is able to blink and get those stalkers away, and this Colossus will get away as well, moving up to the high ground. We do get another Colossus out. SilPae is doing his best to hold this off. He's moving up to the high ground, and then he's moving right back down. He would have been better off staying up on the high ground, I believe, especially with these Colossi. They just need to stay up there. There we go. They are getting targeted down. He's not up there far enough. Okay, and that both the Colossi go down. SilPae is just left with nothing. The Zerg Lateralus has simply overwhelmed him. And the Zerg, he's moving in. He's actually not content with the GG. He wants to get in. He wants to cause all the destruction. This game is over, however. And you see how devastating it can be for a Protoss player on this map, specifically with that giant hole around the third. How easy it is to just run tons of Zerg units in, just to mass up roaches on that 3 base economy. It's just so hard to hold, and you can't keep up. So, we saw here how easy it was for the Zerg to get in, attack the third, and then simply move into the natural on 3 base economy. The idea is then that as a Protoss player, you want to you need to harass more. You need to deny that third as much as possible. You need to deny the natural simply by having a probe there as long as you can. And my preference is to attack on a 2 base economy, not try to go up to 3 bases. Don't even try to move up to that economy and create whatever kind of army you're trying to do, whatever it is you're trying to do. Just use a 2 base strategy. Do a 2 base immortal sentry all in on Daybreak. Easiest thing to do. So that was RandomCast number 3 for the night. Awesome game. All of them were actually fairly entertaining. I had a lot of fun doing them. I hope you guys had a lot of fun watching them. Questions, comments, leave them below. And if you have replays or further questions, or if you would like some coaching tips, send me a email over to GenusTV, or excuse me, GamerGenusTV at gmail.com. I should be able to reply fairly shortly. I'm always here, always looking through it, ready to help whoever. So, that was it for the night. I'm going to have another sip of my delicious coffee. So good. Okay, I'm out, guys. Thanks.